If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Armstead and Towson, you're on the clock. You got 5 minutes.
All right, thank you. Wanted to start this off, and just say thanks to Nestor and everybody at WNST for, putting together this competition. I can't imagine how much work it's been. And as I sat down to kind of write what I was going to talk about during my 5 minutes, I kind of thought, what would be the best way to, connect with all the listeners out there? And I thought, maybe just talking a little bit about my background and, sports and some of my favorite memories and things like that would be a good way to connect. I've played baseball my entire life since I was, probably 4 or 5, played ball, basketball, soccer, all the way up through grade school, high school, that sort of thing. When I was in college, there wasn't really a place to keep playing baseball, so, put together a men's league team and, kind of took that bull by the horn, so to say, and, got things started there. Some of my favorite sports memories, growing up, I was there and actually remember being at the NFL preseason game at Memorial Stadium back when the Saints played the Dolphins. That's kind of where my love for football, kind of started, and I really was in awe of the players in the game and wanted to learn more. Another great thing I did growing up is I was there when they filmed Major League 2 at Camden Yards. Somewhere in the scenes that pan out to the stands, I'm jumping up and down somewhere, just having a good time. Other great memories are, going to Cooperstown last summer, for Cal's Hall of Fame induction. I don't think that's something I'll ever forget, as long as I live. And, of course, any time spent with my dad and my, little brother, I think they play a big part in my love for sports. And I just love sitting down with them, watching a game, getting out on the ball field, going to a game, anything like that is, what I like to do to have a good time. Some of the things that I think make Baltimore sports so great is when our teams are winning, and even when they're not, with the exception for the Orioles, because a lot of people don't care anymore, the atmosphere is just amazing. You go anywhere in town, people are talking about how much they love the Ravens, how much they love the Orioles, and are they going to do this, are they going to do that? In the kind of that same regard, I think back to 2005, that first half of the season where, the O's just looked unbeatable, and just how things had changed in the mood around town, even all the way up in Carroll County, everybody just seemed to be a little bit happier, and hopefully we get that back, someday soon. Hopefully they're on the right track. That being said, there's some things that I'd like to see happen to help fix the Orioles. They've been off to a good start, but I think they still got a long way to go. Koji Irahara was a good signing, finally breaking out into the international talent pool. I think they need to do that more. We're about 10 years behind the curve there, and it starts with player development as well. We keep hearing about all these guys coming up through the system. It started, at the beginning of this decade. I remember hearing about how great Matt Riley and Sidney Ponson were supposed to be. I think they need to emphasize that player development and figure out why those guys didn't pan out. Was it something within the organization? Was it just, bad signings, too much hype? What happened to make those guys not succeed? Another thing that, kind of stands out in my mind is, especially here lately, I don't get the feeling that they're making the effort to sign top-tier players to come to Baltimore. Sure, it's tough to get guys to come here because of, the recent history, but, I think if you treat people the right way, that's going to start to turn around for you. There's a reason why the Cubs wanted to get rid of Rich Hill and Felix Pie for a bucket of baseballs and a pack of Cracker Jacks. It's just, that should tell you something that maybe those guys aren't going to work out for us. I hope they do, don't get me wrong. But I think you got to spend your time, especially when you're trying to fill your major league roster, go out and get some more established players. Our starting rotation consists of Adam Eaton, Mark Hendrickson, and Alfredo Simone. There was plenty of help available this past offseason where they didn't have to go out and spend a ton of money to get CeCe Sabathia or A.J. Burnett. They could have went out and got a guy like John Garland. I think he won 18 games a couple years ago. Come in, mentor some of these young guys coming up through the minor leagues, and he'd be our number 2 starter right now. I wrote about that a little bit on our blog. And, I just think, they could do a little bit better and start treating people the right way. I think that's going to go the farthest in turning the franchise around. And finally, why I think I make a great sports talk personality. I'm not afraid to tell it how I see it. I'll use facts to back any opinion I give, and I'll be more than willing to listen to anybody that has an opposing opinion.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.